Resurgence of buffalo has come new interest in building up and promoting good things about the Queen City.
And that interest can start sooner than you think. Tonight, meet a surprisingly young man who has already found many ways to boost buffalo.
Yes, absolutely. Take care.
Looking for help in this buffalo-themed store? Just ask one of the biggest buffalo boosters around. He owns this place, and this place next door, and the place at the other end of the Eastern Hills Mall, and a whole store in the Walden Galleria.
So there's our glass cutting boards. These are very popular.
And also has products in 5 local Bon-Ton stores. And guess what? He's only 22 years old.
I love people, and I love this region, and I want to make Buffalo great again. How you doing?
Nathan Rose of Clarence has several different Western New York locations where he is selling all things buffalo, much of it made by local artisans, showing off the best side of the Queen City.
People actually love to support Buffalo now. It's a resurgence. The vibe has changed. Everybody's excited about this area. Everything that I wanted to happen when I was really, really young is starting to, actually happen.
Nathan, who has a twin brother and 2 older sisters, is quick to credit his family and his faith for his business success at such a young age. He says it started when his parents gave him a film camera for his kindergarten graduation.
I think we were driving on a trip somewhere, and within 5 minutes in the car, all the shots were gone.
I didn't know until after we got the photos back and we started seeing that creativity and the way he captured things, and just was able to look at things differently.
As he grew, Nathan developed an eye for architecture and photographed the gems of the Queen City. At just 13 years old, Nathan captured this stunning view on Main Street in Buffalo. In high school, he worked up a business plan and opened his own kiosk at the Eastern Hills Mall, selling his photos during the holidays.
The response was unbelievable. People told me that there was no Buffalo store out here, and they appreciated even the kiosk at the time.
This past spring, Nathan graduated from Buffalo State with a degree in urban planning, and his plans as an entrepreneur flourished. By September, with backing from his working parents, he was opening the expanded Buffalo Gallery and Gift Shop in Eastern Hills. And just weeks ago, mall management asked him if he wanted to open in the space that American Eagle vacated at the opposite end of the mall. Now you'll often find him on the mall concourse greeting others as he makes tracks from one store to the other. He's earned the nickname the Mayor of the Mall.
And I know that this being my home mall and that I get excited about this area, but I also think about just the stores in general and the future, and I wonder, what am I going to be doing? Where am I going to be walking in 5 years? You know what I mean? So it's exciting. There's a lot of potential.
I feel like sometimes I just want to rein them in and say, can we just rest and just go with what we have and, take a breather and, but...
Does that work?
No.
Nathan is blazing all kinds of trails. He has become the youngest member to sit on the board of the Clarence Chamber of Commerce. And in September, it was his idea to launch the first ever night of worship at Canal Side.
It was just everybody coming together for the common purpose of celebrating life and celebrating our God. And it was a beautiful thing and something that I'll never forget, and it's something I want to continue in the future.
Nathan describes himself as a blessed entrepreneur with a vision to make Western New York a better place to live. And that vision doesn't end with these stores. Yeah,
we've hired 35 employees, but I think this is just the beginning. I think we can grow this thing to a certain point where, we can have hundreds of employees, we can have an office tower downtown. And I really feel like, as we continue to build this thing, that we can make Buffalo a world-class destination as it was in the past.
They are big dreams that spill out of Nathan Rose, dreams that have a way of pulling others along with him. Will he fulfill the dream?
Oh, I've learned that if you have a passion for something and you really work at it, that you fulfill that dream.
And Nathan will.
He will, yeah.
Photographer Dan Holland worked with me on this report, and we wonder where we'll see Nathan in 5 or 10 years when he wants to start using that degree in urban planning.
He is a very impressive young man.
He is. This is the future of Buffalo, and very mature for his age. In fact, people who see him and work with him every day at the malls, they have no idea how old he is. Until now.
He's got a lot of stores going on there, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He has a lot going on.
Good.